We stand today at the precipice of a new year, hovering on the edge of a timeline that has been whispered about in secret societies and mystery schools for thousands of years. It is January 2026. Look around you. Look beyond the headlines that scream for your attention and look instead at the subtle shifting textures of your own reality. Do you feel it? That inexplicable pull towards ancient Egypt, a strange, aching nostalgia for a place you have likely never visited in this lifetime. Do you look at images of the Great Pyramid of Giza and feel deep in the marrow of your bones that the story we were told in history class, the story of tombs and ropes and pulleys, is a lie? If so, you are not dreaming. You are remembering. And the time to remember is now. This feeling is not an accident, nor is it a product of an overactive imagination. It is a signal, a frequency activation that is being broadcast to a specific group of souls on this planet right now. Two of the greatest psychic minds of the modern era, Edgar Cayce and Dolores Cannon, operated decades apart and never met in the physical realm. One used a self-induced deep trance to access the basic records, the universal supercomputer of all events. The other used a method of some nebulistic hypnosis to bypass the conscious mind and speak directly to the superconscious. Yet their work, when overlaid like maps of the same territory drawn by different explorers, reveals a stunning, almost terrifying convergence. They were not just describing a general shift in consciousness or vague predictions of the future. They were both following separate threads of a much larger cosmic conspiracy. A timeline of human evolution that culminates not in the power centers of Washington or the financial hubs of London, but at a single silent coordinate point on the planet, Giza. Today, we are not simply comparing two separate prophecies. We are synthesizing them into one unified staggering revelation for the year 2026. A revelation that suggests the key to our collective future, the solution to the chaos of the present, and the blueprint for the next stage of human evolution is buried in our most ancient past. And the door to that past is about to be opened. But before we turn the key, we must ask the question that the skeptical mind demands. Why should we listen? In an age of artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and space telescopes, why should we trust the visions of a sleeping prophet from the 1930s and a grandmotherly hypnotherapist from Arkansas? The answer lies in the data. Their track record of accuracy defies all statistical probability, forming a gauntlet of proof that no skeptic has ever been able to successfully dispute. Consider the documented record of Edgar Cayce. In 1929, while the world was dancing in the excess of the Roaring Twenties, he warned of a catastrophic stock market crash 6 months before it happened, describing blood in the streets of Wall Street. In 1935, while the world hoped for peace, he detailed the rise of Hitler, the formation of the Axis powers, and the exact start and end years of World War II. He foresaw the assassinations of 2 sitting American presidents. He described the existence and location of the Essen community and the Dead Sea Scrolls 20 years before a shepherd boy threw a rock into a cave and discovered them. He described the laser and nuclear power before the words even existed. Now consider Dolores Cannon. Decades later, working with thousands of clients from all walks of life, her subjects began to describe the future with eerie precision. In the 1980s, they described a web of light that would connect all of humanity, a global brain that we now call the Internet. They predicted the shift to frequency-based medicine, moving away from chemicals to sound and light long before the current renaissance of sound healing. And perhaps most chillingly, they foresaw the intense social and political polarization that defines our world in 2026, calling it a splitting of timelines, a necessary separation of the old world from the new. These were not guesses. They were data points retrieved from beyond the veil of linear time. And the final most important data point they both retrieved, the one marked top secret by the Cosmic Guardians, was a file marked Giza 2026. To understand the Giza Convergence, one must be willing to unlearn the history written by the victors and open their mind to the history recorded in the stones. The greatest deception in our history, a lie maintained by academia and governments for centuries, is the narrative of the Great Pyramid as a pharaoh's tomb. Both Cayce and Cannon were explicit on this point. It was never a tomb. There are no hieroglyphs praising a king. No mummies ever found in its original state. It is a piece of advanced Atlantean technology. A multi-dimensional machine built with a sophistication that makes our modern skyscrapers look like mud huts. Cayce called it a power station and a hall of initiation. Dolores's subjects referred to it as a frequency modulator and a stabilizer. Its primary function was not to house the dead, but to regulate the living. It was built to harmonize the planet's electromagnetic grid, to balance the wobbles of the Earth's axis, and to act as a portal for interstellar communication. It was constructed using technologies of sound, anti-gravity, and directed consciousness, sciences we are only just beginning to rediscover. It sits at the exact geographical center of the Earth's landmass, a location chosen with mathematical precision to anchor the planetary grid. It is not a dead monument. It is a dormant machine, a sleeping giant waiting for a specific wake-up call. And what is that wake-up call? This brings us to the second cosmic principle revealed by the convergence of these two seers. The Earth changes are the activation key. The prophesied geological shifts, the pole shift, the rising seas, the erratic weather patterns we are seeing accelerate in late 2026 are not random acts of destruction. They are part of a precise mechanism. Both Cayce and canon sources were explicit. The control room of the Giza machine, the legendary Hall of Records, is sealed by a complex physical and energetic barrier. This is not a door that can be opened with a dynamite stick or a crowbar. It is sealed with a frequency lock. They predicted that a future geological event, specifically a shift in the magnetic poles or a significant movement of the tectonic plates, would send a precise vibrational frequency through the Earth's crust. This vibration is the password. It is the sonic key designed to shatter the ancient seals and override the protective mechanisms that have kept the chamber hidden for 12,000 years. The chaos we fear, the shaking of the ground, is actually the Earth turning the key in the lock. The planet, in its own living wisdom, is scheduled to open its own vault when the time is right. But what lies within? Why all this protection? Why hide a library so deep that it requires an earthquake to open it? This leads to the third and most profound principle. The Hall of Records is the master code. The opening of this chamber is not for the recovery of gold, jewels, or interesting pottery. It is for the initiation of a global software update. Edgar Cayce saw records of our soul's true history. The story of who we really are, where we came from, and why we are here. A history that predates the civilization of Sumeria by tens of thousands of years. He saw the records of Atlantis, the rise and fall of the first great human civilization, and the warnings of why it fell, preserved so that we would not make the same mistake. Dolores Cannon's work takes this a step further. Her subjects describe the Hall of Records as a crystalline database. It is not a library of books that you read with your eyes. It is a library of energy that you download with your consciousness. And at its heart, buried deep within the protective shielding of the chamber, they both saw the same object. Cayce called it the Twistone or the Firestone. Dolores's subjects called it the Great Crystal. This was the central power source of Atlantis, a massive conscious crystal capable of harnessing the energy of the stars and the Earth. Before the final destruction of Atlantis, it was brought to Egypt and buried, deactivated to wait for a time when humanity could handle its power without destroying themselves. The prophecy is precise and terrifyingly beautiful. The Earth changes open the chamber. Then, at a perfect astrological alignment, likely coinciding with the solar maximums we are experiencing, a specific solar flare, a beam of concentrated plasma and light information, will strike the Great Pyramid. The pyramid, acting as the lens it was designed to be, will focus this beam down through its shafts, piercing the subterranean darkness and striking the Great Crystal. The crystal will awaken. It will begin to pulse, and it will send a wave of high-frequency intelligent energy across the entire planetary grid. This entire sequence of events, from the first tremor of the Earth to the final wave of light, is what we are calling the Giza Convergence. It is not a single moment but a cascade, and we are in the first stages of it right now. The Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of the Earth, is spiking to levels never before recorded. The magnetic North Pole is racing towards Siberia. The weather is becoming unpredictable. These are not signs of the end. They are the engine revving up. They are the pre-shocks of the activation. This solar flash or great wave that the crystal will release is the physical mechanism of the Great Awakening. It is not just a metaphor. It is a wave of pure truth. When it hits the collective consciousness of humanity, it will act as an instant dispeller of illusion. Dolores's subjects described it as a moment where the veil is lifted. Suddenly, the lies of our political systems, the deceptions of our history, and the false limitations we have placed on ourselves will dissolve. We will see the truth of our connectivity. It will trigger a spontaneous upgrade in the DNA of every living being ready to receive it, activating the so-called junk DNA, which is actually our dormant divine blueprint. It will turn on our latent psychic abilities, telepathy, self-healing, and the ability to manipulate matter with consciousness. However, there is a twist to this prophecy. A detail that explains the intense secrecy and the silent war taking place behind the scenes. Why has the Hall of Records not been revealed yet? There is evidence that the physical location has already been found. In the 1990s, ground-penetrating radar scans conducted by independent researchers like John Anthony West and Dr. Robert Schoch revealed a massive rectangular man-made chamber beneath the paws of the Sphinx, exactly where Cayce said it would be. But immediately following this discovery, the Egyptian authorities, under the guidance of Zahi Hawass, shut down all unauthorized research. A wall was built around the complex. Drilling took place in secret under the cover of night. Why? Because the powers that be, the remnants of the old control structure, the cabal as some call them, know what is down there. They know that the information and the technology within the Hall of Records spells the end of their reign. They have tried to access it, to control it, perhaps even to weaponize it. But the prophecy suggests they cannot. The frequency lock prevents anyone with a vibration of fear or control from accessing the full power of the crystal. It will only activate for the collective, not for the individual. The earth changes that are coming are the universe's way of bypassing this human interference, breaking the doors open so wide that the truth can no longer be suppressed. But what is the ultimate purpose of this great DNA upgrade? Is it just to make us psychic and happy? Is it just to give us free energy? The purpose is far grander, and it connects us to the stars. Both Cayce and canon sources were explicit on this final point. This activation is the prerequisite for open contact. We are living in a planetary quarantine. We have been isolated from our galactic family because of our aggression and our amnesia. We are like a dangerous virus that cannot be allowed to spread to the rest of the galaxy. The superconscious told Dolores, humanity cannot join the galactic community in its current state. You must first remember who you are. You must heal your planetary karma. The Giza event is your graduation ceremony. The crystal activation cleanses the planetary grid of the trauma of the last 12,000 years. It creates a vibrational environment where high-frequency beings can land and interact with us without lowering their own density. The 2026 prophecy, therefore, is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of our cosmic citizenship. It is the moment we stop being a lost colony and become a sovereign member of the Galactic Federation. I know what you are thinking now as you listen to this. You are asking, so, do I need to fly to Egypt? Do I need to stand before the Sphinx when the solar flash happens? The answer is a paradox. It is both no and yes. No, you do not need to be physically present. The energy wave released by the crystal will be planetary. It will travel through the ley lines, through the water, and through the air. It will find you wherever you are, whether you are in a high-rise in New York or a cabin in the woods. But yes, you must go to Giza in your consciousness. The Great Pyramid is not just a structure of stone in the desert. It is an archetypal structure within your own energy field. It represents the perfect alignment of body, mind, and spirit. You are the Hall of Records. Your DNA contains the full history of the cosmos, the memories of Atlantis, the wisdom of the stars. The physical events in Egypt are simply the external planetary trigger designed to awaken the library that is already inside you. You don't need to wait for an earthquake to crack the ground. You can open your own records tonight. In fact, the guardians of the records are waiting for you to do just that. They are waiting for us to initiate the connection from our side. Tonight, before you sleep, I invite you to perform a simple, powerful activation technique adapted from the archives of both Cayce and canon. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and center yourself. Visualize a brilliant golden pyramid of light forming around your entire body. See the base of the pyramid grounding you deep into the earth and the peak of the pyramid extending high above your head connecting to the source. Feel its stable, powerful energy protecting you. Now from the peak of your personal pyramid, visualize a single powerful beam of white light shooting across the globe, arching over the continents and oceans and connecting directly to the capstone of the Great Pyramid of Giza. See the connection locking in. Feel the data stream begin to flow. It might feel like a tingle, a warmth, or a sudden sense of knowing. And simply say either out loud or in the silence of your mind, I am ready to receive the codes. I am ready to remember. Stay in that feeling. Let the energy of the Giza Plateau flow into your own energy field. Now to anchor this activation in the physical world to make a public declaration of your readiness to the collective consciousness, go to the comments below and write these words. Connection established. Let this simple sentence be your signal to the universe. Let it be the proof that you are online. You are listening and you are ready. We are not just waiting for the future. We are plugging into it. The convergence is not just happening in Giza. It is happening in this community right now through each and every one of you. And listen closely because the story does not end in Giza. The activation of the Hall of Records is only the key to the first chapter. Edgar Cayce, in his final most cryptic readings, spoke of what comes after the Giza event. He spoke of a city of gold, the original capital of Atlantis, rising from the depths of the ocean near Bimini in the Caribbean. He said, "This is where the New Jerusalem would be established, a place of healing, where humans and our galactic family would meet face to face." The Giza Convergence is the key that opens the door. But the Bimini Rising is what lies behind it. In our next video, we will declassify the prophecies of the rising city. We will look at the strange sonar anomalies in the Bermuda Triangle, the underwater pyramids that have already been detected, and the race to find the heart crystal of Atlantis before the Earth changes reveal it to the world. You do not want to miss that. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you have turned on notifications because the library is opening and class is now in session. Stay in the light and I will see you on the other side.